We've had a number of questions this week about the valve that's on the front of some of the disposable respirators. Now, this is largely as a result of the COVID-19 coronavirus, particularly in the state of Victoria, where the mandatory wearing of masks is now in place. Many of the masks being worn in the state of Victoria are this disposable surgical style loose fitting mask. Now, it's not a product that we would normally be dealing with at SafetyQuip in that it's not designed to protect the wearer against a contaminant. It's useful though in regard to the pandemic, in the situation that the wearer may have the virus. So it's reducing the risk of moisture droplets by way of sneezing or coughing being passed on to others. But as far as protecting somebody against a contaminant, it has very little protection to offer. Now, I mainly wanted to talk about, so these are what we call P2 disposable respirators that are covered by Australian Standard 1716. So these are products that we would typically supply to industry. So they're designed to protect the wearer against a contaminant. Now, the questions that we've been asked this week are about the little plastic valve that is on the front of some of these masks. So that little plastic section there is a one-way valve that allows the wearer to be protected somewhat from a contaminant by way of breathing in through the mask itself. But when they breathe out, when they exhale, the air goes out through the small plastic valve like it's a one-way valve. Now, the question is, does that valve pose a risk to others if the wearer has the virus? So the answer is yes, there's a level of risk if the wearer has the virus, like it's an unfiltered one-way valve. So the virus could potentially be passed out in an airborne manner through that valve and potentially infect others. So there is a level of risk there. However, back on the surgical disposable mask, it's a very loose fitting mask. So there's so much, I'm not sure if you can see it very well, but it's so loose fitting around the top of the nose there and around the side of the mask, it really doesn't seal very well at all. So there's a level of risk in exhaling of air and moisture that sort of gets out around the edge as well. So there's a level of risk there as well. So one good option is a disposable P2 respirator like this that's unvalved. There is no valve. So that provides protection both to the wearer against contaminants, including particles and viruses, but also to others in the area. Let's say you're a nursing home and you're worried about staff coming into the workplace and potentially having the virus and infecting the residents. This would, by way of not having the valve, would be an excellent choice. I thought it would be useful to see the inside of the P2 Australian Standards disposable respirators. So this is the inside of the unvalved product. So you can see that it's just sealed on the inside. This is the valved product. So you can see the small one-way valve there. Now the P2 disposable respirators don't necessarily always look like this. Some brands look considerably different. This is another, same brand, but different model. So this one's all white. It may or may not have the valve on the front. The key thing to look for though, and it'll be stamped on the product if it is an approved product, it'll have AS/NZS 1716 stamped on there if it's an Australian Standards approved product. If you have further questions about respirators in relation to the COVID-19 coronavirus, feel free to contact your local SafetyQuip branch. We'd love to help out.